Okay. Right. So the essence of it is that we made some substantial claims about a month or two ago for a national customer. And yeah, they're very substantial, a couple of £100,000 due to historical billing errors in a transition of data into CMOS, which is a new wholesale data. And we've come across a situation which potentially could cost customers in the UK millions of pounds in lost refunds. So I just want to explain to me a bit about how we got to this stage, because it involves quite a lot of money, doesn't it?
It does. When you put a claim into the retailer, whoever the client is with at that time, they put a bilateral form into the wholesaler to request them to look into our application. Now, if our application is found to be correct, it should be that the wholesaler goes back the whole period where they have incorrectly charged. And they refund all of that money from the wholesaler. The retailer refunds all the money from when they were the retailer. And then the wholesaler should get in touch with whoever was the previous retailer, if a client has switched, to say, you need to, these are the charges that they should be, now refund the client back X because of the fact that you billed them wrong. But that isn't how it is.
So let's just get this right. So we made a claim. The water retailer took over the account in December 2017.
Yes.
We got all the money back to when that
point
retailer took over that account, and the wholesale data was amended and rectified at that point when that retailer took over. But essentially, the overcharging went back a considerable number of years prior to that.
It did.
So when the data is actually amended in the wholesale markets, then all that history is lost. And so what we're saying is that we ought to get the wholesaler to automatically go back to all the years that it was overcharged.
The full period, and then get in touch with whoever was the retailer before a client switched, instead of us having to put an application into the existing retailer now, and then also when that has been completed and the wholesaler has changed the data on CMOS, we have to then put another application into the old retailer to get the money back again. So you're having to do two jobs instead of the wholesaler saying, right, okay, this goes back the full period. You retailer who you're with now, you pay that back. You old retailer, you pay that back.
Well, the worrying thing from a customer point of view is, though, if, like we know, because we're experts and we do it every day, most weeks anyway. But my concern for customers, and I think the water industry should be aware, that we are now aware of this situation, but a customer making a claim on that basis,
won't be aware of it.
They wouldn't be aware of it. So if they got a nice refund, say 20 grand, and they say, oh, is there any more to come back? Well, no, that's when we took over. The market data has already been amended, and they'll walk away with a check for 20 grand, say, for example, and all those other refunds are lost in the system. So what are we essentially asking the water industry or the water markets to do then? Basically what we're saying is that the wholesaler, when they get a claim through from an existing retailer,
they need to take charge of it, and they need to if they agree with our findings and they say, yes, so you've been billed wrong, then they need to take charge of it, go back as far as they should go, which is all the way in reality, because the fact that if you've overcharged a client from day one, you should refund them back to day one. But that isn't how the system works. And they need to get in touch with whoever they know, because obviously they know who they billed for the client after deregulation.
So what we're saying is a wholesaler doesn't really take responsibility for anything else unless they're specifically instructed.
Well, in retrospect, it's the wholesaler. Yes, it's the wholesaler's data that is wrong, because the retailer only bills on what the wholesaler, what is on the data system. So therefore, it's not the retailer that is wrong. It's the wholesale market data that is wrong, and that needs to be changed. And yes, it takes a long time, because you've got the extra process now with the fact that you've got to do the retailer, well, you can't get in touch with the wholesaler, so the retailer has, and you're constantly chasing. And so if you're chasing the retailer and they've got to get back to you within 10 working days, the wholesaler may have weeks and weeks to get back. And so you're hitting the retailer on the head with a big stick, saying we need to get this now, and they haven't had any information back from the wholesaler.
Something just came to mind there. So if you've got a wholesaler that approves your claim, they refund it, they amend the account data.
Yes.
That's them done.
Yeah.
Right. But they should go all the way back.
Yes.
And they don't. Now, so if you go back to the previous retailer, they'll take a dip into the market data and go, oh, well, it's correct.
Yes, exactly, because it's been changed already.
So if that market data has been changed, there's no copies of it, you've got no record of it, it gets extremely difficult to go back any further than you're entitled. And in this case, for this client, it's best part of anything between 140 and 160,000 pounds.
It is.
And that's on one case.
Yeah.
So we could be talking millions, tens of millions of pounds worth of overcharging that the customers could miss out on. Yeah, I think the regulator often needs to know about this, the market operators mostly, because I think it's a little bit out of our control. But anyway, it's good to hear that we're highlighting yet more trials and tribulations of
more problems.
Okay, thanks so much, Nikki.
Thank you.